The next step we're going to work on is making the cuff for our bootie. So I'm going to show you the first thing that we're going to want to do, and that is placing our elastic. On the template that you have, that you cut from, you'll notice that it has a little place marked that says elastic placement. What I want you to do is to take and make sure you're marking on the right piece. So line up your bottom. On your template so that we know we're marking in the right location. So I can see that my elastic placement is right here. I'm just going to scoot mine over a little. You can also mark this with an invisible marking pen or with a stitch or with a pin if you like. I'm just a little bit lazy and I like to do it this way. I'm going to put my elastic there and I'm going to go through my fabric, over my elastic, and back through my fabric so that I can keep it in place. This is nice because then if I don't like my placement, I can shift it back and forth. So I'm going to mark my other piece as well, which I know is going to go this way. So what I'm going to do is flip this over. One of the greatest things I think about sewing is you know, it's okay to do things your own way. If you have a way that you like to do it, that's just fine. Go with that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew over these a few times so that we give them a lot of strength so they don't get pulled out of our booties. Just going to do that about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Doesn't need to be close or far out. We just want to make sure that that's going to get caught into our 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, so I've got that nice and secure there. I'm going to do the same thing on my other one. All right. Now, again, I like to work on both at the same time so that I don't end up mixing up my pieces. So I'm going to put these so that I know I have a right and a left. Then we're going to put our minky or soft inside fabric right sides together with the fabric pieces that we have here. Then we're going to put our batting on top of that piece. So just right like this. So we have all three laid out. We know we've got all the right pieces together and we know that we're not going to mix up a right and a left. Then I'm going to smooth a little bit from the front. Just do my best to get it lined up without forcing my edges. And pin or clip around the outside. I've got my pins right here, so I'm just going to use those. All right, now that I've got this nice and pinned, I'm going to go ahead and sew around this, all the way around this edge. We're going to leave this scallopy edge unsewn for right now. We're going to use a 1/4 inch seam. All right, now we're going to sew it. It's really common for these layers to just kind of slip around even after you've pinned them. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. We're going to match up all of our pieces. Just take your time here. There's no need to rush this. Just finesse it a little bit. Remember that minky is going to be slightly more stretchy, well, quite a bit more stretchy than your fabric. So don't try to force those to match up and pull your fabric back into a bad shape. You can see here, it might not be perfectly matched up, but I'm going to use my fabric as my guide here. All right, so now go back on both of these and you're going to trim off any excess. Like right here I have some excess batting and minky. I'm just going to go back and trim off these pieces. All right, and we're going to do that with this other one, and then we're going to go on to the next step.